You guys are cool? Cameras all set and all that?
Well, that's the only way to be welcome. This is the FSL, and we are wrapping up the latest season of our casual team league. The F stands for fun, the S stands for star, and the L stands for... don't know. Anyway, we're getting good stuff going here. There's snow on the ground, there's carnage out in space, and we are going to be putting our 2 and 3 numbered seeds against each other. That will be Pull the Boys versus Rage's Raiders. Joining me here is Von Litvig. Hey, man.
Hey, I don't know if it's me getting old, but Friday night spent watching some good StarCraft. Sounds like a good time.
Yeah, I've tried the dance club life. It only ended in embarrassment. If I'm going to get embarrassed, I'm at least going to gain some MMR here and there.
I'm sure you've got some moves.
I have some moves, not good ones, but I do have some moves. All right, so yeah, it's an interesting one because Pull the Boys, they were very dominant early on. Angry Space Heroes managed to kind of gradually get ahead as far as the wins went. So they're going to be meeting the winner of the matches tonight in the finals. And just to let everyone know, so we've got things divided up into Code S, Code B, and Code A, as well as our 2v2 groups, and we're going to be having similarly skilled players from each team take each other on. And we are going to be starting with some of the most skilled we've got. We're going to be doing Code S Neutrophil versus Nucleo. I'm going to be bringing them on right now. Welcome, Neutrophil, and welcome, Nucleo. We got a lot of new here.
Hello.
N versus N.
Amen. All right, so Neutrophil, yep, you are the leader of Pull the Boys, correct?
This is true.
All right, well, how are you feeling preparing to lead from the front?
I'm excited. It's been a really long time since I've played. I think almost 2 months in FSL, but I'm practiced. I'm ready. I'm excited.
All right, and Nucleo, you've been helping us come up with some ideas for next season. I definitely appreciate that. It's going to be your chance to show your stuff.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've done a Zerg versus Protoss, but yeah, let's do it.
All right, let's go ahead and invade Ire here. All right, we're going to get everyone in. KJ, I'm going to need you in the party if you're not already. And we're going to be going to the lobbies. So we've been sticking with the previous map pool through the season, but now it is playoffs time, all bets are off. So we're going to be playing on Winter Madness and Tato Citadel.
Okay.
All right. Anything you good participants would like to say to each other before you face each other in lethal combat?
Good luck. Have fun.
Works for me. I'm going to stop. Yep.
Yeah, GLHF, hoping for a explosive game.
Yeah.
All right. We will be seeing you. This is going to be... Each of these matchups is 2 matches, and they put points on the board for their team. First team to 5 wins gets to move on to the championships. All right, I believe we are ready to go. PVZ on the appropriate for the season, Winter Madness.
I don't know Winter Madness yet, so I'm excited to see what this looks like.
Yeah, I mean, I know Winter Madness in general. I'm still learning the map itself. I'm telling you.
For any of our viewers that aren't familiar, this Code S, is it fair to say they're in the Diamond 2 to Masters 3 range?
Basically around there, yeah. Alright, GLHF. In the upper left, we have our red Zerg, and he is named and he represents the team of
Regis Raider.
Alright, you want to take this one?
And in the bottom right, the green Protoss, we have
Neutrophil.
and Neutrophil is playing for the team
The
of
boys.
Alright, we are starting up on this delightfully snowy battlefield. It's going to be a white playoff after all, ladies and gentlemen. You even see the snow coming down right now. Will we be seeing the blood on the field? And yeah, in between matches,
cold
KJ,
nothing.
we should probably up the graphics a little bit. Yep, basic scouts right now. Nucleo's Overlord has passed the halfway point. Neutrophil's probe has already taken a look around. No real surprises here. They are going with their standard PVZ openings. However, Neutrophil is kind of checking out the third. Wants to get a very good read on when his opponent attempts to expand. Here we go, spawning pool completing, cybernetics core about halfway done. We've got a typical wall off right here at the natural. Neutrophil isn't going to see anything that surprises him too much, but he is going to know that he's fairly safe from early aggression right now.
And without an early Zergling speed, doesn't look like there's going to be anything too aggressive coming out. Maybe the cold on the map is keeping everybody at home.
Maybe. Well, all we need is a bit of gas for the fire, and we are just reaching 100. Will Nucleo be researching Zergling speed, or will he just be going straight to roaches? Looks like that's probably going to be the case here. Still no attempt to research Zergling speed. And like the three ghosts of Christmas, the Adept shades past the Zerglings, and there is no one at the front door. These two are going to be able to get in, get a full scout around, and possibly cause some mischief too. There is another Adept that came out just a little bit late, so the only real loss here is going to be no more secrets.
But the same thing on the other side, where Nucleo's Zergling happened to get in and get a full scout off, kept that other Adept at home.
Yeah, Neutrophil's Adept just kind of poking at the welcome mat outside the third. Making sure it can get out if need be. And the shade completes. Not a lot of casualties so far, and we are going with Stargate tech, by the way, from Neutrophil. Zergling speed is almost complete now. I have not seen any roach warren, so I guess just didn't think he needed the speed that early.
Curious why we had all the early gas in it, but
Well, we may soon find out.
He's gonna
Yes,
play
so
it,
far,
yeah.
no lair either yet. And some very efficient Adept harassment. 4 drones have gone down. Neither of the Adepts lived to tell of it, however. Alright.
it's a nice power up on the Oracle.
Yep. He is going to see what he can get done. Oracles are nice in PvZ, both for offense and defense.
I know I tried off racing as Protoss the other day and struggled to get a wall up, never mind using those abilities.
Yeah, I've definitely come to appreciate Oracles as far as just helping you take an early third. Between Pulsar Beam and Stasis Ward, you can rest a lot easier. Another trick is just getting a couple of adapts in between the Nexus and the Pylon. Doesn't look like he's going to need to do that, but he does have a couple Zealots ready to go. Got a Void Ray coming out. Going for the long game here, and yeah, there we go. Putting down a Stasis Ward just in case a bunch of Zerglings start chewing on that Nexus. Man, Neutrophil going for plenty of tech here. Forge is well on its way. Robotics facility. Charge. So he's in no hurry. He's making sure to power up everything. Meanwhile, Nucleo not half bad as far as the creep goes.
And the map awareness with the Zerglings spread across is some really nice vision to know if the Protoss is moving out.
Absolutely. You know, Zerglings are the lovely BOGO unit. 2 for 1. So you can afford to sacrifice them if you need to.
I'm too used to the co-op. I miss Zagara's triplings.
Oh yeah, those, and not to mention Scourge. You know, nothing like having some explosions in the air and on the ground.
Yeah.
All right, another Stasis Ward going down. So far, yeah, Nucleo's been hanging back. Looks like Hydras are going to be the tech of choice moving along.
Been a real gentleman's game. Everybody up to over 50 workers each.
Yeah, little bit of a depth harassment. That was about it. And they are both going, despite all the tech available. Yeah, heavy on the Zerglings, heavy on the Zealots, and we also have a Baneling nest that is about halfway complete. Those hallucinations, making sure that nothing goes on here that Neutrophil doesn't have a beat on.
Now, I don't see Wingbane Hydra used much by pros, but that doesn't mean it doesn't work well at the level that these guys play at. Do you have any insight there?
We are getting the Hydralisk upgrades, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Hydras are just there to get turned into Lurkers, or just in case there's more Void Rays and Oracles coming out. We will have to see. Once again, Neutrophil making sure that he never starts the Nexus without finding a lovely Stasis Ward next to it.
Got a nice little move out by Neutrophil here with... We've got enough energy for 3 storms on those High Templar.
Yeah, he's going to see if he can do some damage here. Right now, they're about the same place with the structures. Alright, the Zerglings come in, and that was right after that Stasis Ward expired. And they're moving in. They're checking to see if they can do anything on the third. But meanwhile, Neutrophil focusing on that hatchery with Zealots and Immortal. We are having kind of an early base trick right now, with both of them doubling down with their Z units.
Yep, but that Archon did great work defending
It
Neutrophil's
definitely
third.
softened up the opposition quite a bit. We have Side Storms as well. Right now, the pressure stays on Nucleo's side of the map.
But for the most part, it looks like everybody keeps their third,
And lost their fourth. That's the big thing. They
yeah,
kind of an eye for an eye, a fourth for a fourth man.
pressure would be
Yep.
on Zerg though if we're even bases.
No, that's just how I sound. You know. Might be that my mouth isn't close enough to the microphone. I can move it forward a little bit just to see. Otherwise, roll with it. Funny voices are in right now. Alright, there we go. Zealot's going into the bane. Yeah, let me know if anyone else thinks that sounds really weird. That's taking a pretty big beating here, and yet still ahead in supply. Not bad.
Yeah,
And we have the Lurker tech almost ready to go. Double hallucination. I don't see that very often, but I can definitely see how one of them can take some of the early damage, and the other one can just keep on moving.
Especially with the number of Hydras floating around.
Hydras and Queens, you know?
Yep.
Nucleo knows about that fourth, well setting up one of his own as well. And that Warp Prism staying very, very much continuing threat here. Supply caps in metaphor form. I would love if someone made a nice little haiku that made use of supply caps somewhere in there. Alright, Nucleo. Still notably ahead of the army supply, but people always like to say roaches aren't necessarily supply efficient.
Certainly not. But he needs to get something done with them. This is going to go into the later game. Does not want all these roaches hanging around.
Plenty of storms and feedback hitting there. Storms, you know, ever since that change where they don't do damage as quickly, but they hang around a lot longer. It's kind of amazing how, yeah, there's definitely a place for it, but there's also a real hazard for your own unit to make movement out of it.
Yep.
Nucleo really getting a bit of an army supply lead. Fortunately, we got 3 Immortals that were defending that ramp on high ground, so the Zerg wait for more reinforcements.
I didn't catch if that Nexus was cancelled or killed, though. Any
I'm
idea
not
there?
quite sure, but they're both on 4 bases now. However,
Yeah.
as they say, Zerg always should aspire to be 1 base ahead. And both of them, you know, 50s and 60s as far as workers go. Being at 53 workers at this point in the game probably isn't what the Zerg wants. Yet still having that supply lead going. Here we go. Getting ready for another drop. And great minds keep thinking alike, because you see a bunch of Zerglings getting ready to try to hop into that 4th.
Yep. Now, I think Neutrophil's Void Ray passed right over them. We'll see if he does seem like he noticed it.
Yeah, Zealot's getting caught up with the Queens. And no, they did not double down and stun those Zerglings or those Banelings then. And we are into full Lurker tech now. Seismic Spines just completed. Blink +3. Plenty of upgrades to go around right now. With more on the way. So Neutrophil's going to have to make sure he has a good answer for those Lurkers.
I'm starting to get a little worried about the upgrades, though. Where we see that Neutrophil already has +2 attack. Nucleo's still sitting on just +1 armor, 0 attack.
Well, for range, anyway. He does have +2 on the Zerglings at least.
Oh, I missed that. Good call.
Yeah, kind of weird. The order that the upgrades are showing in is just kind of off-putting. Alright, here we go. Needs to have to get some good storms here and be very protective of those Immortals. I do not think he wants to make his way up that hill.
No, that's not a pleasant experience for those Zealots.
Right, Spines just popping up out of the ground. Well, the Immortals, they can get a lot of kills here, but once those barriers are down, yeah, that was just 3 Immortals that he lost for just a couple of Lurkers, and there are plenty more to spare here. Nice storm. I might want to save those for the Lurkers that are already burrowed.
This is going to be a scary push.
The Lurker is kind of in a vertical line. We want them a bit more spread out so they can cover as much as they can.
And just like with siege tanks, if you can force them to burrow before they actually get to the line of your base, save yourself a lot more time.
Exactly. They have to kind of leapfrog their way ahead. The storms are what's really the saving grace here right now, not to mention just Neutrophil repeatedly making good use of that high ground. not really resting on anything. More and more lurkers being born. The subterranean terror creeping through. Yeah, there's the kind of storm
Nice
we want.
cleanup. Yeah.
Yep. Oh, and a whole row of Zerglings being turned into a wall. Nuclear retreating just after Neutrophil got blinked and is able to pick off a few more targets on their way.
That was a scary pushy help. Let's see if he can get any sort of counter pressure going.
Yes, indeed. Right here, Nucleo just does not. Well, I mean, neither player has been able to get a hit. They eventually both got their force up. The longer this game goes on, the more Nucleo is going to be a little bit hungry for more resources.
The units lost tab is very even, though.
Yeah, it's been kind of blow for blow this whole match. I mean, each time one of them takes out an expansion, the other one takes one out too. Alright, that Warp Prism going out, but I think those Balins saw it. We are getting into the level 3 upgrades here for Neutrophil. And meanwhile, for Neutrophil, however, we are transitioning. Getting ready for capital ships. We have a fleet beacon with 2 more Stargates on the way. Not units that Lurkers can do much against. And yeah, KJ, we are hearing some background chatter. Again, this is up to our highest skill level, but yeah, there we go. The Roaches just being A-moved across to free up. Well, he didn't really even need to free up there.
No. Nice attempt to deny that fifth, but
those Lurkers are doing a lot of damage. Looks like they are going down. And at this point, I think Neutrophil's just got a lot more than he can afford to lose. GG right there. Stargate units not even really have the chance to come in. The Immortals were just able to take out those Lurkers and bring that game home. And that is 1 point on the scoreboard for the Bulls. These two are going to be having one more match against each other. This one is going to be in Tato City. Tato Citadel. Citadel. Go stop
I
breathing.
said Potato City there.
Yeah.
Gonna
Oil
change
and
the.
mason, stick them in a stew.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna change the settings.
Okay, sure. Alright. Yep, very much a blow for blow thing. I think in general, as a Zerg, you just can't afford to be on the same number of bases. And at the same time, just the right tech chosen. Those Immortals were able to withstand a lot of beating. And that, had that game gone on any longer, those Tempests would have sealed the deal. So yeah, I think
It's
KJ
not a
is
skill
switching
set I
gears.
have, but I've seen people succeed with Vipers there, trying to pull some of those Immortals out. Might have been able to help, but
Vipers can be a difference maker, alright. No doubt about that. Just checking where we're at right now. So next up is going to be our Code A players. That's going to be Chien Pone versus Not Slothing Around. That's our middle range. Then, kind of our lower range players, kind of more beginner level, Monkey Shaman versus Wind Shadow. We're going to be capping things off with a 2v2 with Dark Medicine Little Reaper against Nucleo and Not Slothing Around. Okay. So we're going to try going in here again. Yeah. It's a good start. These players, Neutrophil was a very dominant player early on before we started the Team League stuff. He had quite a few of the Code S championships in the beginning. Alright, back to it. Neutrophil versus Nucleo. Neutrophil says it's ready. Nucleo says he's ready, so without further ado, we are heading down to the Citadel. big question here is whether they're going to be starting off as standard as last time, or whether one of them might try to throw something tricky in.
Citadel, with the second and third being elevated, makes it so that if you're not doing something extremely timing focused, probably going to go to that at least mid game.
Yep. Well, let's hold that thought, because in the upper left we have our red Zerg. He is.
Nuclear.
And he is playing for the team of
Rages, Raiders.
And in the bottom right, our green Protoss, looking for win number 2, we have
Neutrophil.
playing, of course, for the number 2 seeded team in the FSL,
Hold the boys.
All right. So far, I'm not seeing anything particularly unusual. Now, Neutrophil is the captain of the team, so he's making a lot of decisions, doing the drafting. Very soon we're going to be all done with the season. We're going to be doing a new draft. We're still figuring out how many teams we want next season, clarifying some rules, just figuring out what little things to change going forward. And Neutrophil, again, just patrolling that probe at a potential third. Well, I say potential third, but there's really not a lot of options as far as where you want to take it.
no, I think going down in a straight line would be very dangerous. That lower third has a long distance from the natural to try and move. I can see Adepts getting a lot of value shading back and forth.
Absolutely.
While we've got a minute of quiet, Hyper Turtle, for anybody watching, love to have you encourage them on how they could join FSL if they're interested.
Yep. Well, we're going to be doing some recruiting soon, like I said. If you want to reach out to me, I am on Discord, hyper_turtle. It's just a little interview we do to make sure everything's a good fit. We've got a very wide range of ages here, so we've got some rules as far as things like behavior. And yes, I think pink Zergs are very intimidating. I actually have a pink Carbot Zergling plushie myself. Alright, well, very, very similar to the previous game. We are starting out with the Stargate on the Protoss side again. Again. Taking the third. Just as Nucleo's third is completing on those. Pretty good surround, but both of those Adepts do manage to make it out. Oracle on the way again. Yeah, both of them just playing safe, playing standard. And I do want to point out, Nucleo actually did end up taking that low ground third. Maybe saving the high ground one for a little bit later. And there's those Adepts you were talking about. They do get one kill.
I'm sure they would have liked to have found more drones there.
Adepts are always hungry for more. Alright. And just like last match, Oracle going out just to see if there's anything that it can do some damage to. And look at the timing.
Very well timed scores.
Right. Does get 2, then just hops down the Revelation. But that Oracle is very beaten up right now.
Yeah, it's going to need to stay at home for a while.
Alright. Here come the Zerglings. And there go the Zerglings.
Yep. Now, Nucleo's lair is just finishing up. He's on 2 gases right now. I haven't seen any sign of, I suppose once the lair finishes, we'll see what kind of tech he's thinking of.
Indeed. Right now, Neutrophil just working on his charge. Oh, we are going with more Hydralisks. And where there are Hydralisks, Lurkers often follow. Again, pretty standard from Neutrophil. Just adding most of the tech build-ins, robotic facility, more gateways, a Templar archives. So I'm expecting a pretty
Neutrophil
similar
did manage
composition.
Neutrophil did manage to land a nice stasis on the 3rd.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Yeah, this time the 3rds have been able to hold up a little bit better. Nucleo now taking the 4th at a bit more reasonable of a time. Got the Hydralis upgrade started.
We'll have a slight difference in this game as there's no Roach Warren.
No Roach Warren, and both of them being very careful to scout each other very regularly, overseer hallucinations. Again, still very similar. Baneling Nest working its way towards completion. Storm on the way. And also, a lot like the previous game, neither of them really making any committed pushes just yet.
Although Neutrophil taking his 4th towards the center seems like an aggressive move to me.
Yeah, I'm very curious about that one. I mean, granted, Nucleo does have Zerglings keeping an eye on the others, so it might just be a case of him wanting to make sure that it makes to completion in time. And Neutrophil gets a good look at his opponents for it. Revelation again. And that's no hallucination you're seeing there. That is an actual Phoenix that is very, very slowly picking away at those Overlords and that Overseer. And down it goes. Nucleo, supply blocked, but he's got plenty more Overlords on the way. Just about to complete. Yep, there we go. And here come the Zerglings. Trying to get in there before the defensive structures are up. But that stasis ward.
Not this time.
And a good. Yep. Now they're just going to kind of camp out there and wait for the Zerglings to wake up. And then. Here's, yeah. Neutrophil is not new to this game. He took no time at all to notice those Zealots did not look very good. There were quite a few Hydralisks at the moment, but they are having to make their way through stormy weather.
Don't hold up very well. But
Yep,
that counterattack from the Zealots doesn't seem to be doing much either.
No, I don't think they were really being controlled. They just kind of made a beeline for the Queens. And let's take a moment to admire the creep spread here. Nucleo, compared to last game, has had so much more opportunity to just spread those tumors across most of the left side of the map, not to mention the top. Fly's still not too far apart, though.
But with no observer with Neutrophil's army, that creep isn't going anywhere fast.
I don't think that's one of his main focuses here. He is adding a Dark Templar Shrine.
Yep.
We'll have to see how these armies match up. Neutrophil putting his foot on the gas, going on the offensive, sending a lot of Zerglings and some Banelings. The Banelings get stuck in that Psionic Storm, barely managed to touch anything.
the
Still,
mortals
supply
never would have made
very
my
similar.
models.
Here we go. Lurker Den almost complete, but Ultralisk Cavern is the big story here.
You a fan of ultras? I know some people think they're a easy way to throw a game, but I'm a fan.
At my level, I will try them out because if you catch, I think especially Terran players off guard, they can be very handy. Protoss, I don't know. If they've already got Immortals and they have the tech to make Void Rays, then I'm a little bit more hesitant. Wonderful storms there.
Yeah, absolutely.
In general, you want the Ultralisk to primarily be there to soak damage. You have a lot of Virgil and or Hydra doing the actual damage from your side.
Yep. Try and just get in, claw those High Templar away.
Mm-hmm. Just make sure that the weaker units have plenty of time to do damage. And there they go. Hydralisk right there at the wall with...
Great split with the Banelings.
Yep. Very much. Neutrophil had to make a difficult choice here on where to focus his defense. And he does take up the Hydralisk, but now he has to remake his Cybernetics Core before he can do any Stalkers.
And Nucleo is not taking his foot off the gas with a nice siege up of workers right outside the fourth.
Exactly. Now, both the players right now actually have pretty impressive banks. Nucleo a little bit low on gas right now. He's going to have to saturate those geysers that he's got covered. And here we go with another Zealot run-in.
Nucleo seemed to sense that one coming. The creep spread's certainly helping to give him a heads up.
Yeah, you don't need to sense when you've got vision almost everywhere on that. Right. Bunch of Archons being merged, however you'd like to say it. Yeah, so far I haven't seen any Ultralisks, so I think that is just there as a potential option. Doesn't look like he's researched either of the upgrades for the Ultralisk either. Just started researching another Lurker upgrade. I believe that is the range.
I am curious if we can do a quick question after this game. Why Nucleo seems to be going for the melee attack upgrades before going for ranged if he's going for Hydra Worker.
Yeah, I think he's kind of in between two different plans here. Yeah, we will definitely have an opportunity to ask. Neutrophil definitely having the supply now, though. 50 army supply ahead. It's all going to be about the Lurkers here. He's going to want to keep those Hydralisks out of harm's way, and he couldn't have... He was not in a position where he could afford to lose that hatchery.
Walking through your own storm doesn't feel good,
GGWP. Neutrophil takes both these matches over the boys. Alright, Neutrophil setting a really great example for your team. Those were two matches. Both of you mostly content to leave each other alone until you got into kind of the mid to late game armies. How are you feeling?
Feeling pretty good. I forgot how scary mass lurkers to play against. I was really worried that first game because there was one point where I threw away all of my immortals.
Yeah.
But no, there was a close game, really back and forth. It was a fun macro game. I haven't played one of those in a long time.
One thing we were noticing from Nucleo, seemed like you were a little bit split between tech. It's like you were mostly focused on the Hydralisk Lurkers the second game, but your upgrades were in melee, and you had that Ultralisk Cavern too. Were there some different directions that you were looking at going?
Yeah, I would probably say I was probably going for like a Hydra Lurker army and then add on Ultras later. But I noticed the last game he was able to mass Immortal. So I was really looking to upgrade towards melee in case I needed to do like a Broodlord transition or whatever. Not that I could have afforded it in either game, because I wasn't able to get like my late game economy up really. But yeah, no, those were very solid macro games. Very different than the practice games that my teammate Adastra puts me through. So yeah, I think Neutrophil would be a good practice partner, honestly.
Yeah, I'd say he would be, and quite the track star too, from what I understand. That sounds like. Here, let me see. Yeah, Chien Pone doesn't have a camera available right now, so we might want to consider doing the Code B match next instead of Code A.
I do know that Champon has to go after this, so if you can't play the next one, I mean, if Von with Liquid wins the sub, that works too.
Okay, well,
Your Reaper. Yep.
we'll want to figure that out. He's gonna see if one of his family members can just, lend him a smartphone and he can get onto the website there.
Right.
Okay, do we want to just go to video, take a very quick intermission while he checks to see what he can set up?
Sounds good.
All right.
Me too.
Cheesy Hunter. Aegis Raider.
Alright, we are back. We should have our Code A players on camera now, not slothing around in Chienpone. To answer the question in chat, I did not make that song. However, my initials are DJ. I have composed some songs, but they're more rock ballad style things, and I'm not going to bore you with those right now. Hey, Chienpone, and hello, not slothing around.
Good evening.
Alright, Chienpone is representing Pull the Boys, not slothing around. Rage's Raiders, not slothing around, is one of our newer players here. How you guys doing?
Good.
We can take Nucleo off camera for now. We're going to keep things moving along, but yeah, just curious how things are going.
I'm massively sleep deprived. That's about it.
All right.
Strong. But yeah, I'm ready.
I like your moxie, and I know Chienpone actually has to go somewhere very soon, so yeah, how about we just get right into it? I'm going to put you in your lobbies, and we will let the fireworks fly. All right, this should be interesting. One player sleep deprived, one player in a hurry. Who does that favor? Time will tell. So yep, Ruby Rock. It was interesting, this time around, they didn't keep a single one of last season's maps, so there's been a lot... What? Huh?
Thanks.
You are watching.
Hey, anything you want to tell us now that your voice... never mind, hold that thought. We have to announce the player names. In the lower right, we have the red, Terran, and he is.
Chienpone.
And he is playing for the team.
Pulled the boys.
And in the top left, Purple Terran, we have
Not slopping around.
playing for the team of
Rage's Raiders.
I love how his intro actually is him acting tired. So we got an LCV proxy going on right now. Chienpone, as we expected, not wasting any time. He is going to be going for some form of rush here. Positioning-wise, that looks more like it's going to favor Reapers, but you know, he's done a few different kinds of barracks rushes, but he's definitely no stranger to proxy barracks, that's for sure.
now one gas. Is that enough to sustain 2 barracks Reaper production?
You know, I forget. I haven't done proxy in a while, but I believe you usually would want 2 gases if you are going nothing but Reapers. Otherwise, yeah, you can make a tech lab. Yeah, yeah. Chienpone walling off his main with supply depots straight up. Not slothing around is expanding. I gotta see. Does he? Yeah, he knows there's no barracks at the front anyway.
And Chienpone's getting
I'm
that
looking.
SC kill. You're trapped
Yep.
in here with
Nowhere to go. Folks at home, if you ever find your SCV trapped in a corner, right-click on some minerals, and it might actually make it out. Easier said than done sometimes, and here they come.
We do have a bunker going down for Dotted Sloth. If he can get that to finish, that might help him. It's a tall order, though.
Well, that got delayed. It's all about who's firing at what right now. Not slothing around, needs to keep his It's all about keeping your Reapers away long enough for the healing drugs to kick in. They have to go a little bit of time without taking any damage. Oh. Yeah, not slothing around seems Seems like he's been taken off a little bit. He left some of the SCPs there, just making Reapers for now.
And
We are getting a lot
went
of
for the
kills.
SCV arrest, but it didn't quite work out. This is
It
gonna
is
hurt.
tricky. Reapers are very slippery units, and if Pone keeps producing them, you end up with him creating Reapers fast as his opponent can. Not able to catch up. The wave just keeps getting bigger. He's falling behind Reapers as well. This is not looking good for not slopping around at the moment. Even if he does manage to clean this up, there are going to be more Reapers joining those. There's a grenade. Nothing doing though. Right, the Reaper count just outnumbered at the moment. And there we go. GG. Pone takes the first win of the game. That brings pulled the boys up to 3. That is 3 wins on the board. Map will be 10,000 feet. And KJ, we need you to join the new lobby. There we go. Yeah. I suppose we should have suspected something in that, at least on his webcam, he's going by the name Cheesy Pone. He's not afraid to telegraph things a little. Alright, Pone is ready. Not sloughing around, is ready. Alright, we are going to dive in 10,000 feet. Pone going random this time. Actually, I'm not sure. Did he go random the previous time? I think he chose Terran to begin with. Alright, look at him. Looks like he's getting the dice ready to roll.
I'm wondering what he's up
You
to.
are watching
Take off. Alright, in the upper left, we have again the red Terran. He is
Pone.
and he is playing for the team.
Pulled the boys.
Meanwhile, in the bottom right, we have our purple Terran.
Not slopping around.
Looking to start that comeback, playing for the team of.
Rages, Raiders.
Alright, here we go. Looking a whole lot more standard. Going with the barrack supply depot wall. He accidentally selected all of his SCVs for a moment there, but not too much time. Again, these are more mid-level players. We're talking like gold 1 to about sometimes diamond 3. Pone has actually worked his way up from the code B, so he's been learning. And again, I think he's planning to try to end this fairly quickly, going 3 racks against another Terran. And Sloth not taking any chances, getting a bunker there ahead of time.
Yeah, after a cheesy game like game 1, you have to imagine that your opponent's going to want to play defensive, don't want to get tripped up by the same thing again.
I think a lot of the time Pone likes to end things early. I think he's a lot more confident in his early game than his mid and late game. At the very least, just getting an advantage early on. And yep, still being cautious, not sloughing around, building the command center on high ground. And both sides, no Reapers either side right now. Chienpone hasn't actually started on a unit. He does have a tech lab out, so
I don't think you're allowed to build units you build in the first game, right? Is that the rule?
There is no rule. And if there were, they'd be made to be broken, so there you go. A lot of this honestly comes down to just playing those little mind games. Trying to decide whether your opponent's expecting the same thing or expecting something a little different, and then trying to play for whatever they're least prepared for. Yeah, not slopping around still. Taking a much more standard route. He is getting a factory.
Add-on. Your command center upgrade is complete.
This is where he's going to start feeling a little bit more secure because he hasn't seen any signs of aggression yet. But Chienpone is going to be going all out. Stemmed Marines. I think he's just going to try to snipe down as much as he can as quickly as he can. Although he's also expanding and making a bunker, so maybe he is planning to hold out a little bit longer. Low ground engineering fan. Anyway, as far as this map goes, we do have kind of a very thick wall of low count minerals that you can mine your way through. Unlike some similar setups, it's far enough away from most of the buildings. It's more kind of to limit where you can expand. Also, there's a ramp that they're on, so a little bit trickier to try to take advantage of that with siege tanks. Just something to think about. And the big question I have is when one of them is going to take the offensive. At the moment, yeah, Chienpone is adding more and more Marines to that supply. He is not bothering with any factories. He wants those million Marines, and he wants them soon.
It does seem to be he's... Oh, I was going to say he's built enough SCVs, but then he queues up a couple more.
I keep thinking that he was strictly going for sort of a big stem Marine rush, but instead, yeah, he's getting a factory, he's getting combat shields.
Yeah.
I'm not casting alone. I've got my good friend Von Lipvig right here. Is the volume for him a bit low? Because I can hear him all right.
If I need to lean into my mic, you just tell me.
Yeah,
But-
well, I certainly ended up doing that. You know, actually it was Chienpone here that was saying it sounded like I'd inhaled a lot of helium. So,
More shoebox
Okay,
depot things
sounds good.
needed.
what
Okay.
a balloon.
So at this point, it's actually evened right out, where both of them have 311.
Yeah, it was interesting, but yeah, they're both, I mean, even if they took slightly different routes to get here, they're both going, well, I mean, fairly standard Marine tank. Curious what kind of air they're going to be adding. Yep, I mean, from not slothing around side, it is going to be Vikings, so air control and tank spotting. And I will say, when I play TVT, it can be very aggravating when my opponent has more Vikings than me. Especially if the number of Vikings I have are none. But then again, if you only have like 1 or 2 Vikings and they've got 5, pretty soon you've got none.
Yep.
But the trick really is just getting into a good position, having that extra vision for the tank range. Accident, I'm a throw now. Huh, okay.
Not sure what that means.
No. Maybe it's the lyrics of a song. Accident, I'm a throw down. I'm a throw down. I'm apologize. Anyway.
So I'm
yeah,
wondering, he canceled his third. There was the one Marine that came in from
Okay.
Sloth and attacked
Yeah,
the SCV. I'm
that
wondering,
sounds like that's what it is. But also, I don't know, I think he's just predicting that he's going to lose. I don't think that means that he's just going to go all in with what he's got, for better or for worse. That's what I usually expect when someone says something like that. Yep. Just continuing to tech up. Chinpone going with Medivacs. He has +1. Not slopping around. Let's just see. Does he have... Yeah, he's got an engineering bay. He just hasn't started any research on it yet. And he's putting up his missile turrets. Yeah, before it happens, man. And I don't know. There's room for mind games, of course. There's always the, oop, oh man, I just made a big mistake that I'm not going to elaborate on. Oh, I guess you've got this. Haha. I don't think that's the case here, though. We know it's not the case. He was just acknowledging a mistake. And yeah, this drop's coming in. Justice not slothing around is taking his army into enemy territory.
I'm not sure Chinpone wants to defend against this army, so it might be to his advantage if he can move in, try and pull up the army home.
With the dependency he has on Marines right now, a lot of it's going to come down to whether he's able to attack before the stems come out. And yep, that third base sees the medevacs coming. The tank seizes it. And meanwhile, yep, we are getting a more standard siege right at the natural of Chinpone. This is deep straight. Oh no, you don't want to do that. You don't want to do that after the tanks are sieged, man.
No, not like this.
I have done that so many times, by the way. Sometimes you're not even moving them, and like the tank lands one hit, and the nearby units automatically go on the offensive. So it's like, it's not even just about deciding what to attack about, it's making sure that some of the units are on hold position, and then attacking. Right now, though, not flopping around. His supply keeps growing and growing. Good 40 supply ahead of his opponent, so he was able to weather that storm. He has landed his command center again and is again mining from the natural.
He did a great job of pulling the SCVs quickly. He lost those refineries, but that is not a big loss.
And then taking advantage of the high ground. That tank was within range of that ledge, so the Marines were able to just take it out. Well, the game goes on. Neither of them were able to do any kind of game-ending damage there, but Chinpone dangerously behind at the moment. Interestingly, on the other side of that, not slothing around is the one who's behind in workers.
He's
just starting to saturate his third.
Which means if this does go on for another 2 or 3 minutes, Chinpone might be able to get right back. But with this push right now, I'm not sure Sloth's going to give him the time to do that.
Yeah, basically during that altercation before, not slothing around lost workers. Chinpone primarily lost army, a lot of Marines, as well as the units that he went right out there to drop. And here we go. He already has 2 of the tanks sieged. And once those tanks are sieged, you need to keep those Marines out of range, no matter what. Unless you've got some really good numbers going.
And that was a lose-lose situation for Chinpone with that command center. You lift it off, the Vikings are picking it off, leave it down, and the tanks are taking it apart.
Out of the frying pan into the fire. Frying pan's the siege tanks, fire as the Vikings think about it. Here we go. Those Vikings are going to be able to add to the vision range of the siege tanks, will also just easily taking out those liberators. And anything he's got defending there, he's not going to be able to move them very far. Yeah, there we go. They get into that minimum range, but that still only gives them so much. I believe they took out one of those tanks. Yeah, I think Chinpone...
Using Marines like banelings there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, friendly fire is a thing, so... I don't think that tank would have died if they hadn't taken friendly fire and splash damage from the other tank shot. There we go. Not slopping around, just managing to hit as many places as he can. Doing a drop will also get one of his siege shanks a little bit further ahead. And here's that vision range battle. Those tanks need to be spotted for if they're going to go up against each other. And again, just luring more Marines out to their death.
Yeah, where Sloth is ahead 100 supply now, I think it's just a matter of time. But
Yep.
this is a...
I think he's just
Each
gonna see
side
what his
doesn't know what
options
the
are.
other one still has, so...
And also, you might just be judging to see, if I'm going to lose this game, can I do it in a memorable way? Here we go. That Liberator does go down. The other Liberator, however, does have a bit more defense for those Marines and those siege tanks. More and more, the opponent is just being forced to give up ground.
Meanwhile, Sloth has his third fully mining and has a full command center ready to push off and move over.
He's got a lot of things. He's just kind of built them around. Some of those might be orbitals, some of them might be planetaries. At this point, it's the classic question of how can I still lose this? So he's making sure that he keeps growing his economy and has the abilities in defense. Big thing he's lacking out on the front line, though, is medevacs. Yeah, those, it's the old be careful about drugs thing. Their health has been very much depleted, and none of that's been... I wish Karen had Chrono Boost. Yeah, I hear you, man. I mean, honestly, the reactors kind of serve that purpose. So we're gonna have to ask him what he wanted the Chrono Boost out there, but yeah, already pulled the boys on a match point.
Not stopping alarm. Rages, Raider.
No,
that's Sloth around 3 so we're tied.
3-1 now, yeah.
Oh yeah, 3-1, there we go. I am not keeping track of this very well. Alright. Alright. Well, thank you very much, and yeah, thank you for making the time and getting that camera up. Just curiously, you mentioned you wish that Terran had Chrono Boost. What were you trying to Chrono out?
+2 armor.
Okay,
It was so
yeah.
close to finishing, and then I accidentally moved right before it finished.
And when you were talking
Yeah.
about throwing the game, was that because you canceled your third?
Simply canceled my third. I can't believe I did that.
The escape key is a dangerous mistress.
For some reason, I
Alright,
thought this-
however, first game, that Reaper Rush, very effective. You were able to get those in there. You were able to choose your targets and, take one. So right now we're at Pulled the Boys 3, Rages Raiders 1. So that's, you got an even look in there.
Alright. Well, that was...
Alrighty, I know you got places to be, so Code
Good
B
game.
is up next. Those are our lower level players, so thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you.
Did you win?
Alright, let's bring them in. Monkey Shaman and Wind Shadow. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, this is Code B. This is the players who are basically gold 2 and under. They're valuable people to have around because these Code B players keep getting better at it and not qualifying for Code B anymore. How you doing, guys?
Doing good.
Here. Let me say hi. I'm gonna make sure that you're in party. Invite. And invite. And Monkey Shaman, you're gonna be playing random, right? Alright. Yeah, you're both sounding a little bit quiet. You might need to turn up the Discord volume a little.
I tried to fix my sound earlier. Hopefully it's coming through okay.
Alright, well. I'm bringing you in.
Good now, yep.
Okay. So right now, potentially, Pull the Boys could get this whole thing if they get both these wins. So, as always, no pressure.
I'll try my best to stop that.
Exactly. So, all right, we've got you ready to go. Any interesting anecdotes you would like to share with our audience?
Zerg is my fourth best race. I don't know.
Okay, that is pretty impressive for a game that only has 3 races. So, man, I am
We'll see how this
very
goes.
curious what you've got in mind with there.
We'll see how this goes.
All right, I'm going to put you into lobbies. We are ready to go.
Good luck.
Cut him off before it could say fun. Regardless, we're sticking with it. Okay, we are ready to go. This is going to be on White Rabbit. This has been fun. I mean, I've played games on a number of these maps myself. I have not cast games on them yet, so it's like I'm getting a nice bird's eye view of what these maps are like.
You are watching FSL.
In the lower left, we have the orange Zerg. His name is
Wind Shadow.
And he is playing for the team of
Rages Raiders.
Meanwhile, in the top right, our random player rolling Terran in the green.
Monkey Shaman.
And he's playing, of course, for the team of
Pulled the Boys.
Now, random is always interesting. You've got a little advantage in that your opponent doesn't immediately know what your plan is. But you gotta keep track of 9 different potential matchups. In this one, at least it's down to 3. He knows he's taking on Terran, but it's tricky preparations, and some players who don't have a lot of things prepared just prefer random because, okay, if I don't know what I'm doing, at least my opponent doesn't either. I remember last week we had some guys talk about orange just upsetting them as an in-game color. I think it was for team games because orange kind of blends in with some of the other potential player colors too.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember the context. That's important. All right, factory out already.
I have some difficulty with purple Zerg and ZVZ. I'm trying to separate Zerglings off creep.
Yeah, I remember in the original game, like in the campaigns, they'd almost always have the regular Zerg be purple, whereas it would be blue for Protoss and Terran, at least the ones you were playing as in the campaign. Now, since these are lower level players, you might see things go a little bit more off meta. A lot of these builds aren't as practiced. Some of the stuff they haven't really researched as much.
What also I see a lot is there's a plan, but there isn't a backup plan. Or there isn't, if this cheese or timing doesn't finish them off, what do I do next? That's often the missing piece that you see a lot more even just in Code.
Missing piece in the chessboard, yeah. And the other thing, is very common is either attacking right away or really waiting because they're not as familiar with the reads of the game. Not quite as sure about what signs to look for when it's safe to attack. But yeah, Monkey Shaman, going with a pretty basic 1-1-1 here, and even switching some of the add-ons around. Hellion's very favored against as just kind of something to have at the beginning of a game against Zerg. And yes, anyone's a GM if they say they are. Alright, so we are going
Especially
with
if they're
Roach
only
Tech right now.
charging $10. Sorry, go ahead.
What were you saying?
I was going to say, especially if they're only charging $10 an hour for coaching practice on Reddit.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've been seeing paid coaching kind of take off to the next level lately, so I'm very interested to see where that goes. See, Monkey Shaman still hasn't changed the natural command center into an orbital. And, you know, yet another thing that you can say about players who are newer to the game. You see a lot of them just kind of making one of almost everything. So, kind of an armory out before there's really anything to do with it. Although, I mean, there a lot of these anti-Zerg builds do have the armory just so you can transform them to Hellbats. Pay to coach me? Alright, hit me up. I will make sure I will make sure I earn that money. Yeah.
Now, besides Queens, I'm not seeing. We've got what, one roach? We've got a couple roaches now. Very light on army for both sides.
Yeah, they're kind of feeling their way through this. So, yeah, very different sort of game than the Codex and Codex. But also, oh, there we go. Hellions are in there. They do get a couple of kills.
I'm not
only
sure
two
two
total,
is what he
though.
was looking for.
Yeah. Well, like they say, choose company, man. And yeah, both of them, you know, doing some good defense. Wind Shadow walling off the front to limit how many of those Hellions can get in. So we're going to see
Meanwhile,
where they
Monkey
want to go
Shaman
here.
got that tank to fortify him in case those 7 roaches move across. They're not going to get anywhere.
Yeah, I think.
Looks
yeah,
like
it's
we
an
might be
interesting
seeing
build.
another base for each side.
Exactly. Interesting build from Monkey Shaman. I mean, you know, at first glance, this looks very mech, except he did research combat shields.
I am worried about him, though, where we only have 25 SCVs. He's going to fall behind very quickly without the economy to match what
Wind Shadow
Wind
had
Shadow
30
has.
workers, and also getting some pretty good upgrades here, too. Wind Shadow is definitely piling up the resources a little bit. You know, and I was just going to say, yeah, he could use more hatcheries maybe to spend that, and indeed, he has already taken a force. So once he starts his production, he's going to have the resources for it. Raven, yeah. The Terran, just a little bit of everything. But yeah, I'm just dying to see Wind Shadow get those extra hatcheries up and really make use of all those minerals he's got.
Yep. He's up to almost 70 drones now, so he's going to have more than enough money for any mid-game push.
Yeah, right now, kind of, you know, we got kind of both sides of the track here. We got one player who's got over double the army supply, one who's got over double the worker supply. All right, there we go. Monkey Shaman getting 3 more barracks up, but just needs to get more workers on that natural. There's just 5 mining the minerals right now. So it's just a question of that balance. I love Wind Shadow's creep spread, by the way.
Yeah.
He is making sure to infest this. And going for kind of a sneaky command center there.
SCV ready.
Yeah, Wind Shadow manages to produce some units, which he's got plenty of resources for. That's to be yeah, there we go. 17 Hydralisks in production. He's got 1-1 for ranged Zerg right now, but very soon it's going to be 2-2. 2 Ghost Academies. I wonder if Monkey Shaman wants to do some radioactive activity.
He's brought out nukes before in the FSL. That might be a way
he's
to
definitely
try
got
and
my
get
attention
this.
here. Yeah, both of them very content to leave each other alone. We had that Hellion run by, and that's been it.
Now, if Wind Shadow stays at home until those ghosts come across the field, there's no spores right now, no form of detection whatsoever.
Yep, no overseers either. But I'm still waiting to see. The Ghost Academies are done, but no cloak and no nukes being researched yet. Yeah, I've also got some idle workers too.
Yep.
So yeah, that's where you want to
Cool.
keep your eye on that little notification above your mini-map.
That one next to the armory that's been there for a little while keeps talking to me.
And what's he saying?
He's saying I'm overpaid and underworked.
You got overtime? More work?
Right, that sneaky base.
Alright.
Too long.
That is, usually Hellions aren't the most effective against roaches, but when it's that many against one roach, but yeah, here come the Hydralisks slithering their way across the map. And at this point, Wind Shadow has both a massive worker advantage and a massive army advantage, and this is going to hit very hard. There we go. He did indeed transform into Hellbat. They did not last long after that. And that command center is sort of a ranged pinata right now. Boom.
Yep. Let's see if this.
I don't think that command. Yep. He did cancel it, so that's good.
Yep. Got some of the money back.
He knows the basics here.
It never feels good walking up a choke point.
No, it never does. However, those Marines are fighting well out of range protection here. And there we go. They're embarrassed.
Is it just
They
an
are
overwhelming number?
Yeah, it's be. Even if these Hydralisks don't last long in the siege tank fire, the damage here is something to recover from very easily. And watching armor-shredded Hydralisks get hit by siege tanks. Not a pretty sight, but still it's getting the job done. And there we go. Cloak and one nuke are being worked on. And I don't think the Hydralisks can get up here, so I think we will get the chance to see what those ghosts were planning to do. Nuclear
I
launch.
think that might be a bit of a Pyrrhic victory, though.
You know, any match where you manage to land a nuke is a match where you have, what do you call it, a moral victory? It's like, yeah, you beat me, but you also got nuked. Think about that, pal.
Got another 40-something Hydras moving across the field.
55 Hydralisks are active right now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty basic unit. With the way they move and the ranged attack, they're in large enough numbers. They can do a lot.
This looks like a defense game now.
No high ground vision, though.
Yep.
Alright. Come on. We're counting on the ghosts now. I want to see a defensive nuke right now. Here it comes. a little bit behind on where that red dot landed. Oh, no. Just gotta keep them occupied, and here it comes. The moral victory! 5 kills on that go. A GG. Alright, well you can say...
Wind Shadow.
Alright.
Aegis Raider.
That is things for 3-2. And we are going to be doing our next match on Tourmaline. Tourmaline. Alright, in we go.
Hyper Turtle, can you handle the intros? I gotta make sure the kids are brushing their teeth and getting ready.
Alright, well, I'm
I'll
all
be
for
right back.
dental hygiene, so yeah, you go, man. You go.
Thanks.
Brush like the wind. After we're done with these, I have promised to take my daughter out for ice cream in the middle of winter, but kids are gonna kid. Alright, let us get going.
Like I missed anything.
A tourmaline is a crystalline silicate mineral group in which boron is compatible. Yeah, okay, so basically it's a gem. Okay.
You are watching.
Googling that quickly. In the lower left, we have our orb, Zerg, and he is
Wind Shadow.
And he is playing for the team.
Rages Raiders.
Alright. In the upper right, we have our green Terran. He is.
Monkey Shaman.
And he is playing for the team.
Pulled the boys.
Alright. Monkey Shaman again. Yeah, Monkey Shaman again ended up as Terran. Last match, it was a little all over the place. I wonder if this can get just a little bit more focused here on what the grand plan is. Wind Shadow, I mean, for one thing, he kept ahead in the macro. The other thing, he just narrowed his attention down. He wanted Hydralisks, and nothing but Hydralisks. And, well, that made the tech pretty straightforward. He knew what he was going to spend money on. So a big thing I'd like
Reminded
to
me
see...
of 5 speed of GM build.
Yep, just take them. Once you've got them all, A move, and then just take your hands off the keyboard and mouse. Maybe an earlier nuke. I mean, that might be a bit more effective. Also, a good strategy might, if he can get the opportunity, put that nuke down on the enemy side of the map. But yeah, that match, he didn't have many options, so he just dropped it where it had a chance to drop. If the bombs go up, who cares where they come down?
I'd love to see Monkey Shaman put a little more pressure or spend a little more time on the other side of the map, though.
Yeah, not just that, but he just has to get his economy going. That was something that got left out. By the time he took his third, he never really saturated his natural.
Yep.
So, and KJ, you're still on mic. Yeah. Background conversation. For the record, our production man is the father of 3 of the players on Pulled the Boys. And we are going to be seeing the other 2 of his sons very shortly in the 2v2. I don't know, is that on KJ's mic or is it your mic? But I can hear a lot of background chatter. Okay, that's better. Alright. Where we go? Oh. And yeah, you're talking about this though. We have 2 proxy starports, so alright, this is definitely going to be a different kind of game. I do not think he's got nukes on the brain at all right now. Liberators or Banshees, most likely. And his opponent, Wind Shadow, already into Lair attack. We're already starting his Lair anyway.
Yeah. But the first game, we did not see any spores or detection, so I'm curious to see if it's Liberators or Banshees. We could have a lot of
We'll
damage.
find out shortly. We are going with Tech Lab, so I think it's going to be Banshees. Double Banshee. So yeah, nothing like an invisible enemy hovering right over your base.
It is fun playing with those. Once you get speed on the Banshees, getting to fly around and pick things off, they do
Oh, and
damage.
he is! Alright, this is next level. Still, needs to make sure his workers don't go idle, but this could be pretty solid. If you're not ready for this, it is pretty tough to deal with. The general rule of thumb as Zerg is to have your spore crawlers started right at the 4-minute mark. Just making sure that any air units or cloaked units already have something to welcome them. He has not started any actual Banshees yet, just the upgrades for them.
Yep.
And Wind Shadow currently working through a supply block. There we go. 2 Banshees are now in production. Scream and Fury.
Now, if Wind Shadow is going for the same thing as last game, it's just a matter of time before that Hydra Den comes down, which the sooner it comes down, the easier this will be to bat away. Roaches are not going to help against Banshees.
Yeah, he's got to depend on the queens, and I mean, granted, he's got a lair, so as soon as he starts to be threatened by them, he can change some overlords into overseers. But he's probably going to want to immediately start on some spore crawlers too. We will see how well he reacts to this. Monkey Shaman, not in any hurry. He is moving from 2 Banshees up to 4.
It's only 3 queens.
Yeah, similar to last time, he's Monkey Shaman's taking his third when his both bases aren't all saturated. Just little things that you can adjust. But here we go. Here comes the Banshee attack. Alright.
I really like how Monkey Shaman waited to cloak the full health Banshee until it started to take damage, but cloak the damage one right away.
Yep, and missing here, there's a couple Banshees that are still over at the starport, but I don't think he minds. 17 workers, and he's on top of that, sending a Widow Mine and some Marines down. Alright, the whole army is joining together right at Wind Shadow's natural. And he is just very lacking in units that shoot upwards.
And if you can control that natural, you cut off the reinforce. It is so difficult as a Zerg.
I mean, the Banshee is basically even camping the production. Nope, they're gonna go for the worker kills again. And this time a much more solid plan to begin. That's the big difference here. Monkey Shaman decided what he was gonna do, and he did it. Managed to take up that spore crawler and 3 more workers, but Banshees are out of it now. 2 more join the fray, though. This is not getting any better for Wind Shadow.
No. With these 12 roaches, he should be able to clean up the forces on the ground, but no answer as of right now.
And he's got the Hydra just about to pop too, so he is going to survive for now. But this is going to set him back. Fortunately, he had plenty of workers in the main and on the third. But Monkey Shaman actually in the worker lead at the moment. Yep. More Banshees right there. Be able to take them out. Those siege tanks arrive with no support, so
No, it's a
yeah,
sad
they
day
will
for
not
those
be
tanks.
going back home. Wind Shadow is going to go ahead and see what he can do with the counterattack. There's a bunker and siege tank right there. At least, one more siege tank up on the high ground. Here we go. Roach versus bunker siege tank. Units not all arrive at the same time, so quite a bit of damage already done. There goes the repair on the siege tank. It does go down. And we are losing quite a few SCVs here. However, they're tanking a bit for the Marines.
It is going to be a hold, but yeah, that's an expensive one.
Not a good day for the working class here. Right,
That one
here we
SCV
go.
in red, though, got 2
More
kills.
Banshees.
Oh,
Going to natural, but there's not a lot of workers left there. He's just going to destroy what he can. Going after the hatchery, going after the evolution chambers, going after the hydralisks as they spawn. So this is a good way to keep his opponent on the back foot. Again, standing at the reinforcement. There's another cloakman. He really likes waiting to cloak until he has to. It's like, saving the energy until they're under fire. I mean, there is some validity to that. I think Monkey Shaman's gonna take that. That is the hatchery down.
that brings the worker count back around even, but up north, Monkey Shaman still has the SCVs from his natural idling.
Yeah,
His income is
that's a big
severely
thing. You gotta pay attention to that idle worker alert, and whenever possible, shift right-click them back to minerals for after they've done what they need to. All right, there is not. Yeah, Wind Shadow GG's. So what do we have there? We have both boys up to 9 points. It is 4-2 right now. All right, those were
All that a game of asymmetrical information.
absolutely. All right, each of you put a point on the scoreboard. First game of Wind Shadow, that just excellent macro there. You were able to keep building up. Money was piling up a little bit, but once you were ready, you just kept those hydralisks coming.
Yep, it just held down the H key. That's all. Just S and then H. That's it.
Shh, shh.
That's right.
Yes, that's what you got there. Second game. I mean, first game, Monkey Shaman, it didn't look like you had much of a plan. Second game, you definitely had a plan, and that was the proxy Banshees, and they were well worth the investment there. You pretty much cleared out the whole natural right away, and were able to just accumulate the damage there.
Yeah, I missed my Sport 20 timing on that, so I
Yeah, it could be a tricky thing.
Yep.
And just Monkey Shaman, keep an eye. One of the big things, keep an eye on those numbers for whether your resources are saturated, and keep an eye on the lower left for that idle worker count. There was just a lot more available both games to just if you had a little bit better economy going. So remember, you gotta have money before you get your pretty toys.
Yep.
Oh, and also credit to you for the nuke in game 1. Like, you were
Where
going
was
down,
it?
but you went out with a bang, and you did manage to kill 5 hydralisks.
Yeah, it was for moral support for me in game 2.
A moral
And then I
victory,
saw I
yeah.
randomed into Terran again, and I wasn't super happy about it, but I thought I'd just try something a little more kind of in his face. And I noticed that he was like way way ahead on upgrades, like for his ground units in game one. So I wanted to try to maybe, shoot the Roach Warren, shoot a Hydra Den, shoot some Evo Chambers, anything to kind of keep him from pulling
Shoot
away.
anything that doesn't move.
Yeah, that too. But yeah, no, those were fun.
Yeah, good games,
Yeah,
man.
you
was
definitely have my
Likewise.
interest there. So well done on both sides. We're gonna take just a little break while we get the mic sorted out for 2v2, but that is where we are gonna see whether Pull the Boys takes the series or whether Rage's Raiders ties it up and we go to a final ace match.
Later.
Yep, absolutely. And KJ, you put the video up.
Cheesy Factory. Aegis Raider. Infinite Cycle.
Alright, welcome back.
Hey. Alright, we're ready to go. It is going to be 2v2. Now, unlike the 1v1s, there were definitely maps that they capped for 2v2, as well as some they brought back, some that they updated Community Edition-wise. But we are going with some long-time ones, Reclamation and Emerald City. And here, let us bring everyone in. Alright, we have brothers Little Reaper and Dark Menace, and we have the return of both Not Slothing Around and Nucleo.
Flex.
Yep. Take your victory walk ahead of time. You might not all... You don't always have the chance to after the actual match, so... But yeah, either way, we've definitely seen good games all around from all of you, so I'm very curious to see what happens here. I love the lights down on Pulled the Boys' side. Very creepy. Alright. But yep, as I said, this is going to be... Well, Pulled the Boys can either take it all, or Rage's Raiders can tie it up, and we can go on to an ace match. So we're going to move you to your separate lobbies, and we're going to get going. I love it. You know, Little Reaper's always so quiet on camera and on mic. In the chat, I am extra ready. All caps. Winky face. You know, he's only shy until he faces his opponent on the battlefield. Then he cuts him down to size. Alright, we are going in here. Reclamation with all of its foggy tendrils. And also, well, a map where there's a little bit more room to divide and conquer if you want to go for a rush. In the upper left, we have the green Rotas, and he is
Little Reaper.
his teammate. I know people in the chat were saying they like pink Zergs. He is
Dark Menace.
And together, they represent the team of
Pulled the Boys.
On the other side of the map, in the bottom right, the red Zerg, we have
Nucleo.
and at the 6 o'clock location, Purple Terran. Returning once again, we have
Slothing Around.
these two are playing for the team of
Rage's Raiders.
Alright.
You are watching.
Go, and the Reaper already up the scout there. And we have representatives from all, what was it, 4 races? Spawning pools going about the same time. Hey, yeah.
nothing
I
crazy
don't
just
know
yet.
anything.
Nothing crazy just yet.
Nope. Pretty standard. Little Reaper making a nuisance of his probe here. But yeah, not slothing around already. Moving both a Reaper and another SCV out. Will this SCV survive regardless? Will the probe survive? Will Deborah ever confess her love to Brad? Find out next. Wait, what are we doing? Yep, that's basic. Safe openings all around. Reaper, Adapt, Ling Speed. Dark Menace not actually researching Ling speed yet. He put that first 100 gas into +1 attack for melee. That is interesting.
It does take longer to research, but that is a risk if Nucleo's going to come across with any volume of Zerglings.
Right. I mean, and plus Reapers are adepts as well. Speed is very much a safety thing. He has started researching it, but Lings are immensely less effective if they can't move quickly enough. There's a lot of repositioning that they do as they attack. Nucleo has a couple Lings of his own in the enemy base, both players ready to take care of them. Immortal on the way, Dark Menace just going over to take a look at his opponent's base. And he is going to be going Roach check, whereas Nucleo going for the Banelings. Alright, the numbers and the speed upgrade here. Not much of a contest. Those 4 Lings were never meant to do all that much. He just wanted to see what he's dealing with. Now he at least knows that there's quite a few fast Lings that Nucleo is bringing to the party.
Dark Menace did manage to time out. I hope that was intentional, though. Wing speed and +1 finishing at the exact same time.
Oh, Dark Menace knows what he's doing. He's he is not a menace just by name. He knows exactly where these are timed out. One of our, top 3, maybe even top 2 Code S players right now, and that is nothing to sneeze at. Plus, living in this, growing up together and such, he's had plenty of opportunities to practice with his brother here. Early aggression tends to be a big thing, like big early gateway pushes from Little Reaper. Alright, quite a few Lings coming in here. Nucleo is morphing Banelings, so he should be able to save that half rate. But Little Reaper is sending some reinforcements in, and more Lings are coming. And remember, these are +1 Lings. They get a lovely little bonus to every stretch they make. Green's coming in very quickly.
Those Immortals are a nice touch. That's
Yep,
going to fill this
they
in
are.
nicely.
And expect Little Reaper to style on that, popping them out of the prison when needed. I don't think he will lose, though. They are getting the numbers and damage very quickly here. Nucleo repeatedly getting supply blocked as well. Sometimes I'm surprised I don't see more. Oh yeah, there we go. GG. And Pull the Boys are going to be moving on to take on Angry Space Hero in the big championship match in a week. And we are still going to be doing the final 2v2 match, just so everyone gets their time in. This one will be Emerald City. War Bunnies, that's a lie. You are not winning. Oh man, I would love to be a narrator in a Blizzard game. On contract, though. I don't want to stick around too long. We never paid any heed to the ancient prophecies. Like fools, we clung to the old hatreds, and fought as we had for generations. Yeah, I see. I know my lines. All right.
I can see you being the heel for a DLC.
Yep. Hey, man, I gotta tell you, I was inspired last night with Mephisto showing up on that big screen and taking the time to kind of razz all the streamers who were in the audience before he got into the trailer. You might be going to work. You're always going to work, War Bunnies. War Bunnies, by the way, is the captain of the team that Pulled the Boys is going to be taking on next week. the angry space heroes. All right. Ready, and yeah, Little Reaper. I am even more and extra ready. Man, if Little Reaper talked like that, I would... But hey, who needs talking when you got typing? He knows how to capitalize his letters. Alright, we are going into it right here in Emerald City.
You are watching.
I will ask him about that build, sure. Alright, away we go. In the lower right, we have the green Protoss. He is
Little Reaper.
and his teammate, the Zerg, decked out in pink. He is
Dark Menace.
and together, they represent the team that's moving on to the grand finals. They are
Pulled the Boys.
In the top left, Red Zerg, we have
Nucleo.
and his teammate at the 11 o'clock playing Purple Terran is
Not slopping around.
And while they might not be playing for points, they're still playing for pride. This is the team
Rages Raiders.
So I would like to call everyone's attention to the western portion of the map, the 9 o'clock position. That is a lot of green structures right there. That is full, not the cloverleaf, but those gateways do have the pylon pretty well blocked off. I think there is a little bit of room at the bottom. But yeah, so I don't think Little Reaper plans on hanging around too much later. Moving in, just scouting with his probe. It's a tricky thing, just teaming up between one race and Zerg. Makes walling off a lot more complicated. And there we go. We are going to be going all kinds of chrono boosting, standard slow zealots. All the meanwhile, Dark Menace coming in with his Zerglings ahead of time.
This is going to be a pure melee into, looks like, eventual Roach stream.
Yep, Roach is going to be there too. He is not bothering with research. Neither of them are researching any speed for any of their units. They just want to overwhelm.
Who needs tech when you got numbers?
Yep, Bunker's going down up the top. And that Queen managing to protect himself a little bit behind the minerals. But yeah, just too many of these guys. Reaper and Dark Menace with a significant supply lead. There's going to have to be a lot of micro here. Nucleo is coming in with Zergling reinforcements. And this is where you might need to pull some of those drones to get some extra damage and tanking in.
Those zealots are wedged really nicely in the mineral zone.
They are. Those zealots are surviving a lot longer than you expect them to. And advantage of them going after the Zerg here, a lot less ranged units for them to deal with. Just that one Queen. And yep, here come the Roaches to join in the fun.
Huge portion of the team game strategy, I feel like, is knocking one player behind enough that it turns into a 2v1.
Right, that bunker paying off well, but it's pretty, you can't build bunkers right next to a hatchery unless the hatchery wasn't done building. That is nice though. They've got the Keep Tank bunker combo. Both in positions very difficult to reach. And yeah, the friendly fire, even taking out more Zerglings there. There we go. Both Little Reaper and Dark Menace are taking their expansions, their naturals. And yeah, I think in the meanwhile, Little Reaper is just going to keep sending these zealots in. These mineral-only units that can, well, pack a punch. Reaper's even getting a forge for himself right now. Now let's see, Nucleo has found the proxy. It might take a little while to take this down, and even though there's no more units being produced out of there, just those 4 zealots, if their back is to the wall, they can hang on for a while. Alright. Working on their counterattack, Nucleo sending Zerglings over to the other side of the map, but it's going to be just him holding this. Not slopping around, he's focused mostly on defensive units, and yeah, those zealots right there, not missing a beat, making sure to pounce on that hatchery as soon as it begins.
Yeah.
And I like the studded sloth, he is getting the starport going. That could be a very good way to hit back after you've been proxied.
As a Zerg, though, you don't want to be stuck on one hatchery. There just is not enough larvae. Doesn't matter how good your...
You don't even want to be stuck on 2 hatcheries, no. It's like... Yeah. Production, larva, creep, you are missing out on a lot if you were that stuck. And the fact that not only did they destroy it once, then they canceled it the next time. Robotics facility from Little Reaper. He really does like making full use of warp prisms, and we saw the Immortals last game as well. Dark Menace
Here
just
comes the
flooding
Twilight
around.
Council as well.
Yeah. Makes sense. He could give those zealots charge, or even just move on to Dark Templar. I've seen him go both directions in the past. Nucleo is the one who's just really behind the supply, only 33 at the moment. I mean, everyone's been set back a little bit. The price of doing those proxy rushes combined with just, well, whether you're out of the giving or receiving end, it's very rarely going to be a high econ game for a while. Ravagers being the weapon of choice here. This Little Reaper with a depth, just making sure that there's damage being done in as many different spots as possible. And where does he go? Well, he goes straight for more of Nucleo's workers. And by the way, yep, it's Dark Shrine and Charge, so I guess he wants both.
Yeah. Now, on the other side, we do have Nucleo was able to knock down Dark Menace's 4th and almost took out his 3rd.
It's the damage, but currently being saved off.
Yep. I don't think
At
it's
the moment,
enough.
Nucleo is only at 16 workers. That is a huge deficit to try to come back from.
That hatchery on 17 life, though.
Oh yeah. His opponents just have to seize
Probably.
them, I guess.
Yep.
Dark Menace wasting no time. He's attempting to take his 4th already. And there you go.
There it goes.
It didn't take much to finish that hatchery off. Nucleo not missing a beat as far as getting another worker to turn into that hatchery. But right now, this is, I mean, not slopping around, has the highest supply right now. But he's on what's basically a 2-on-1 as Nucleo attempts to clean things up. And yep, they were... I think Little Reaper was very much expecting something along these lines. Their stalkers and Ling Bane over here. Might have to pick out the drops again. That's maybe 5 Marines left in that, and we have the Dark Templars coming in as well. That hatchery at the Natural has a bullseye on it that you just can't wash off.
Yeah. And in the meantime, the minerals on the main are starting to run out.
And Dark Menace seeing if he can continue take out more workers. He's got Mutas on the way. And still, the team of Rage's Raiders has not been able to take out that group of workers. Alright, 2 Banelands got smashed by that tank. That's a lucky thing. At this point, Dark Menace has the supply lead. Not to mention the clear base lead, too.
Looks like Sloth's got all their eggs invested in this push.
Sloth just lost some overlords. And yeah, this is gonna be all in. If they don't have the units back home to defend, you know, they either need to wipe out the enemy or nothing. Oh, and there's the Mutas up at the top. Mutilas going after not Sloth the rest workers.
I think Nucleo putting down 3 Spore Crawlers is doing half the damage to their own drones, unfortunately. This push
No
is
win
a lot of
situation if
damage.
you're a drone right now.
Yeah.
Well, Tank Marine can be very hard to deal with, but we are having units from multiple races attack from every single direction. I think that's going to be it.
6 units, yeah. Valiant effort.
Yeah, Little Reaper. Yeah, definitely sacrificed a lot there, but meanwhile, Nucleo down to just 12 supply. There's not many directions this can go. Nucleo researching Burrow. That's interesting. I mean, if that's what you got, if that's what's available to spend your money on, I guess why not? GGWP. Alright, congratulations to Pull the Boys. You guys are going to be going on to the Grand Finals to take on the Angry Space Heroes. Now, we had some questions in chat, specifically about the Zerg build, the first match. You were starting the +1 melee attack early, and then just synchronizing it, so it ended just as Zergling speed, Metabolic Boost did. They wanted to know if you could shed some light on that build.
What specifically about it?
I don't know. Chat? Is there anything specific you want to say? I guess like what minute or what supply counts or what minutes you started each of those upgrades. That's probably what it all comes down to.
I would just replace the +1 melee for the speed. Then I just get speed immediately after. Because we're on a 2v2, so I don't have to worry about speed and being defensive. I can just have a teammate I can rely on, and I don't need speed.
Yep, that's a good point. Second match going with heavy duty gateway proxy, and those gateways just never went down. Nucleo, oh boy, you were definitely the target of that. I want to give some big credit to not slothing around for still making a match out of that.
Tried my best.
Yep.
Yeah,
You know?
we really, I saw the size of his army. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, we're pretty screwed this game, but you should at least push across the map for the stream, you know? Like,
It's all for glory, man. Even if you don't survive.
yeah, you got to make a show out of it.
Exactly. All right. Well, great games all around. Next week we're going to be doing a little bit more usual. We're going to be doing Saturday morning, I believe. But that is going to be our big championship. Then, we're going to let everyone do their holiday stuff. And then we are already discussing a lot of fun changes for next season.
Yeah, good luck in the finals, guys.
Good luck.
Thank you.
Alrighty. Alright, well, I gotta pay attention to my daughter now. So I will be seeing you.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good night.